Is it Wednesday yet?
Nope.
No, it is not.
Well,
But
that
let's.
depends when you're listening to this.
That's true.
Touche.
All right. Well, if you are listening to us, you are listening to the second ever podcast for the Men's YMCA Floor Hockey League, and also known as the Circle of Jerks. We haven't changed the name yet because we are recording these podcasts back to back, and so we haven't had time to even look at your feedback because it hasn't happened yet because you haven't heard the first one yet. Or like Kurt said, maybe it's Wednesday or later. Either way, is it Wednesday yet? So today we are going to talk to you a little bit about the Week 2 games and our preview of them. So Jerry Bear, do you want to take us through the schedule?
All right, so Week 2 games. Starting up 6:30 game, we have the away team Run DMC wearing white shirts. Again, wearing white shirts.
Because they are.
The away team.
Yeah, so in case you missed that, the away team wears white. Always.
And they're facing the Wu-Tang Clan, which will be wearing black shirts. T-shirts may be in by Wednesday, but bring your team color shirts just in case they aren't, because we've run into things in the past where we expect them to be there and then they're not. 7:30 game, we have the Sugar Hill Gang in white as well because they're the away team.
Again,
Flash.
away.
You can wear no shirt. That
No,
works too.
that's not an option, actually.
No.
You have to
No.
wear white.
And they're playing
Wait, who's
against
on that team?
the Roots, playing in green forest. Forest green. Game 3, 8:30. We have NWA wearing white shirts playing against the Furious 5 in orange shirts.
They must be angry.
Yeah, furious even.
9:30, last game of the night, A Tribe Called Quest, white shirts, playing against Public Enemy in blue Carolina. So Carolina blue shirts for Public Enemy.
That is blue, comma, Carolina, for those of you who would be normally reading the write-up. So, all right, first game, Run DMC Wu-Tang Clan. So first of all, you know, within this circle of jerks, make sure that you call out when it is your game of the week, because we may have 4 different game of the week since there's 4 different guys here in the circle. Jerking. So, Run DMC, what is the storyline here?
I mean, you're talking about a battle of battles. I mean, you're talking about Zach Davis going versus Joe, and what a tough start of the season for Zach. I mean, Zach last spring had one of the easiest schedules of the league. This year, he's going against Paul Paradine, number 1 pick, versus the number 3 pick, back-to-back games. I mean, that in itself is going to
He's
be a
actually
battle.
having to play at maybe like 60, 65% potential this season.
It's going to be a great game. I think the speed's going to be fast. I mean, you're looking at 2 goaltenders who, Alex was a comeback player of the year in the fall. Ramsey had a great first game. They're both coming off wins, and both of them are going to want to look to continue that streak.
And not only are they coming off wins, but we're talking about the draft, the first pick and the third pick in his first 2 weeks.
Second,
for Zach.
yeah, that's right.
But John Ramsey and Alex Packard were only 1 pick apart in the draft. I mean, John picked second, Alex picked third, right? So we're talking about entire teams that were picked only 1 pick apart, and these 2 teams look entirely different. I mean, the composition and the makeup of both teams are just almost as different as you can possibly be. You've got an offensively dominated team in Run DMC. You've got a ton of talent and power in the floor players when it comes to shooting and scoring and passing. And then in Wu-Tang Clan, you've got, you know, Joe obviously has all of those things I just said, but then you've got a lot of defense. You got John Chatterton, you've got myself, you got Steve Kazmark, you've got people that like to kind of fall back, hang back. I mean, in the first game, we played more like 2 guys back on defense. It'll be interesting to see what style wins in this game.
And I think one of the big things that I want to see, especially out of Run DMC, is I want to see their passing game increase. I mean, Zach is one of the best passers. I bet you don't. Zach really needs to find his passing game. He's one of the best passers in the league. That assist total really needs to be ramped up. But I really, the way it was in week 1, the way I saw that the fact that they were not playing defense and Ramsey did win the game for them, I expect their defense to be better this game. I expect their offense to be right around where it was last week, and they're my pick to win this game.
Jeremy, who's your pick?
I'm going to go with, always bet on black. I'm picking Wu-Tang on the upset. I feel like the Wu-Tang Clan's team is better suited defensively to deal with a Brian D'Angelo-Zach pairing, and I feel like you're not going to see Brian D'Angelo's numbers as inflated against a team like Wu-Tang. I feel like Alex Packard has the better night than Ramsey that night, and Wu-Tang edges him out.
Shots fired, by the way. He's saying Brian D'Angelo's scoring is inflated.
Yeah, and now here's the thing also is that I know that we have Brian D'Angelo, and I don't know if he's going to have the same week as he did last week, but to me, JJ is one of the best third rounders that you can possibly have in the league.
We haven't even talked about JJ yet. We got this whole preview. We're not
I
talking
know
about JJ.
this guy is so good in the league. He was easily one of the best players on our team last year. He didn't, but man, that guy just does not stop running. He is such a great player. I mean, you're talking about Zach, JJ, and Brian all together. To me, I know Brian had a great first week, but I think JJ is going to have a chance to compete for number 2 scorer on this team.
So you've got,
And this is my game of the week, by the way.
so this is Pete's game of the week, and he's got Run DMC winning. Jeremy's got Wu-Tang Clan winning. Kurt, what do you think?
I concur with pretty much everything Jeremy said. I feel like defensively, I think Wu-Tang's got the power to keep Brian D'Angelo held down in points. I don't necessarily think he's inflated because that's what he does. That's what he does. And I think that between John and Bob and Steve, I think they're going to slow that down a little bit. Now, like Pete was saying, I think seeing what Jerry contributes this week it's going to be the deal breaker. I'm going to give it to oh man, as much as I think they can stop Brian, I don't know. I'm going to give it to Run DMC.
Oh, okay. Upset
by
pick
just
there.
a point, I think.
Just changed it. Talked about how awesome Wu-Tang Clan was, and then says,
He's got to go with Jeremy.
Run
I
DMC.
I literally changed my mind midstream, but then
Yeah,
I
we
got
saw
thinking
that.
about what happens when Zach gets his ass lit on fire, and who knows?
Have you seen that personally?
Things changing
Yeah.
midstream in the circle of jerks. So
Zach, call me.
I will not say too much about this game because it is my own game, and I don't want to tip my hand too much. But I will say that this game is a classic example of defense versus offense, like we've all been talking about. I got to go with my own guys here. I'm going to pick Wu-Tang Clan. I went back and forth on it, but I am going to pick Wu-Tang Clan because I think it's a coin flip. I think it's basically going to be which goalie has the better night. Between Ramsey and Packard, they both had good nights. They're both, we talked about their credentials. We talked about how good they're playing. It's going to come down to which goalie has the better night because I think that it's going to be a tough game. I also think that Run DMC is going to play a very physical game, and compared to what Wu-Tang Clan played against last week, it was physical, but it's not as physical as what I saw Run DMC play on the floor, and so I'll be interested to see how my squad holds up to that.
I do wonder what the weather's going to be like, too, because the first game of the night, if it's hot, it's going to be nasty.
Yeah. Second game, 7:30, Sugar Hill Gang at the Roots. Who's got what? Jeremy, let's start with you.
So Sugar Hill Gang, it's going to be a tough game for us because we're potentially down Gianni for that game. So,
And it is 61 degrees coming up next Wednesday, just putting it out there.
so the biggest factor of that game is going to be whether or not
Wonkier and wonkier.
Gianni is going to be there. He's going to play a big part of their. He's a big part of our team. So if we're down him, then it's a uphill battle for us. With that being said, I feel like with Gianni, we have the ability. If we're all there, we're all healthy. It'll be the first look at our rookie goalie. I feel like I'm not going to bend against my own team. I feel like we have the ability to win games and hopefully have a winning record for the season. So I'm going to go with us, pending all of us being there.
Us being Sugar Hill
Now,
Gang, pending Gianni showing up.
You guys have Andy next week, Pete?
Yes, Andy's missing 3 of the first 5 games of the season.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
He's got
It's a
a
rough
wicked
start to the
travel
year.
schedule, man.
He's missing every other game.
Haken Galvin
I know,
over here.
I know,
I
but
think we gotta question his priorities. Man.
I know.
He's getting too much into provider, not enough into the hockey player.
And once again, as you guys saw from the 2nd to 3rd pick, this game is the same way, 4th and 5th pick
Wow.
in the draft.
Interesting.
Well, hey, I'll lead right in with that. I'm going with the Roots on this one. If Andy's there, I think that's going to be the deal breaker. I mean, we played against you guys last week, and there was no moss growing under any of you. Dan Gladden might have some moss growing on his face right now. But other than that, I don't know. We'll see. Kenton's your question mark.
Yeah, I mean, Kenton's got to step up in this game if the Roots are going to have a chance. Sugar Hill Gang, I don't want to hate on them too much, especially because I know Gianni loves my write-ups and hopefully he loves my podcast because he hates everything I say. But I think that they could, they have some potential, but I've got them 8th in my power rankings. I got them 8th for a reason. I don't believe in them yet. I think Steve Schultz, is going to grow. I haven't seen him play in real game action. I've seen him play in the warm-up games. He's going to grow, and I don't think he's going to be the reason they win or lose. I think it's going to be the rest of the team. and it's just scoring. It comes down to scoring for me, and I just don't see where the scoring's coming
In
from.
the Sugar Hill game?
In the Sugar Hill gang. But from the Roots side, they scored 11 or 12, was it 11 last
11
week?
goals.
And 11 goals, possibly 12, depending on, the high
Yes,
stick.
Tim.
A little shout out to Tim there. But they scored 11 goals on a good team and a good goalie, and and Austin wasn't finishing. I'm giving my pick to the Roots just because I think Austin finishes a little bit more.
Let's keep your eyes peeled for Dave King, though. He didn't play last week.
That's a good point.
And I played with him last season, championship team. He delivers when he needs to.
He's a great player. I enjoy playing against him. I think he's a great addition to the league coming in the fall. He's a guy that doesn't quit, really likes to put it. I always love playing against Kevin. Once again, this guy is just Kevin Baldwin and Kevin Parker.
Okay.
You got the Kevin duo. Oh, man, yeah. See, exactly. They have a great.
Damn it, Kevins.
Damn it. Damn, Daniel. So we have a great team that we're going up against. Obviously, a lot of firepower there. I thought the first week was just obviously not a good telling for this team of who they are. First game for a rookie goaltender is always going to be tough, and especially he's going against some high firepower. Austin has a ridiculous shot. He had a backhand in the game that just roofed it, looked like a Zach Davis goal. I'm really excited to see that. I don't want to lose 2 games in a row. I know that my team is ready to come out and play. I got to go with my boys on this one.
It's funny you talk about the backhand. We didn't talk about this in the recap, but Ian had an incredible backhand last week too.
He's my boy.
I saw Ian have it was a beautiful
He
backhand.
hit me right in the face, and I didn't even see it coming.
Yeah,
Oh, is that not the backhand you're talking about?
so that's typically the backhand we're talking about when we're talking about Ian. But no, we are actually talking about a backhand with a puck and a stick, and it was really nice. And that's a good point though about your team. Not only are we talking about a rookie goaltender, but a rookie goaltender that I haven't seen go down as often. Yeah, and that's something that almost all rookie goaltenders deal with. And we're talking about a team that has Pete, yourself, you're more of a long shooter, but you've got Andy, Dan, and Ian that can just clean up by his feet. And if his defense, if the Sugar Hill Gang defense does not clean up those rebounds by his feet, you're going to see 12, 13 rebound goals. I mean, it
That's
could
why
get
I'm going
nasty
with the
quick.
Roots on this too. It's just
Who's your pick then, Bob?
The Roots.
Okay.
I'm feeling the Roots.
So we got 3-on-1 on here, Jeremy. How do you feel about that?
Fuck all of you.
He feels like his team typically is going to feel, not getting back on defense when they have a 3-on-1 coming at him. Shots fired. All
Are
right.
we going to see Jeremy Boner, defensive monster, this week?
That was last week.
For about 7.5 minutes. All right, so NWA versus the Furious Five, the 8:30 game. Who wants to tee this one off?
Kurt? All right, I'll take this one on. So we're looking at Conco, who's coming off probably one of the worst games in his career. I mean, we got to be honest. The game was awful for him. If he played
Dare we
even...
say it? Conco sucked?
Oh, Gianni's
That was
going to
a
love
layup.
that
Conco
one. Nailed it. Yeah, so Conco did not play well last week. Even if he played at 50, 75%, his team would have won that game last week. And he's going against Furious 5. Both of these teams lost last week, and they're going to be coming in ready to battle. You're looking at Tim, who had the #1 overall pick. Paul, who was really frustrated after the loss
Yeah,
from
threw
this.
his stick. I haven't seen him that angry in a long time. I mean, the guy plays passionate, but very rarely do I see him display his passion like that.
But I think that's something that you're going to see a lot this year because of the talent. You're putting your heart and soul into this game. You're putting 100%, and it's just not enough this year. I mean, you're going fully force at it. I mean, I can't. The second that Zach loses, he is going to be furious. He's going to be the same way. I think all of us are going to be the same way when you're putting your heart and soul to every game 100% and you're still losing. So as far as the game is concerned, I can't see Conco having two straight bad games. Obviously, Paul is going to be shooting a lot. Jesse's going to be shooting a lot. Conco is just going to have a better game. To me, it's a no-brainer. NWA is going to win this game.
No brainer.
No-brainer.
Wow. See, I got a little bit of a different take. I mean, I do expect Conco to rebound. It was an uncharacteristic game for him, and it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the worst of us. And Furious 5, they didn't really see their chemistry either. And Tim Scott looked a little rusty, so it's hard to tell. Week 1 action, it's hard to tell. That being said, Furious 5's defense, Sturgis and Mike Bryant, are they going to be able to keep up with Newberry and Habits Ruther and Foes? going along with what you're saying, are they going to get outrun? Are they going to get outgunned? And then you also got that fight between Fos and Gaffey and Pete and Brad. Like, it's gonna be a physical game. Over under 1.5 altercations in this game. What do you guys take? Over under.
Easily over.
You're gonna say over 1.5?
Yeah, they're going to be pushing each other around. Gaffey is one of the best shot blockers in the league, and that was the biggest thing that really pushed me across it because Brian just shoots off the freeze. I mean, that's what he does. He just shoots all the time. Gaffey is one of the best blockers in the league, along with my partner here, Bob. But that was really what got me to here. However, I think Sturgis is going to have a better game. This team just looks like it's going to have a rebound. Furious 5 is just going to have to score as much.
Yeah, let me
much
jump
as
in
possible.
with you there. I think with NWA, I'm looking at Steve Newberry, Jamie, and Dave against Mike Bryant and Mike. I mean, those guys, all three of those guys know how to cover a shooter, and they know how to smother them. And I think that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back there. So I'm going to have to go with Furious 5 on this one.
Jeremy, what do you think?
Looking at the stat sheets and looking at the team makeup and their stats, for their respective games, they look almost identical. You have one guy taking the workload for the most part, and you have other guys that are kind of, role players, goal here or there. I'm going to call this my game of the week, just because you have, like I said,
Well, this is the game of the week. Let him
this is
get to
my
it.
game of the week for the week, because like
He's
I said,
building up
there's
to it.
such a
You gotta
similar-
buy her a drink first, maybe go out to dinner. I mean, you can't just go right for the.
Just
Oh,
looking
I'm
at,
sorry. I'm mostly tripping over the fact I meant NWA on my last
Yeah.
pick.
Oh, so you're picking NWA.
Well, I picked NWA. Yeah, I talked them all up.
Yeah, and then you
Not
picked
like my
Furious
last
5.
game. I talked them all up, and I think they might have it. So just wanted to be clear.
Okay, so you are going
So-
with NWA.
All right,
Yeah.
so
All
let the
right,
record
so there you
show.
go, Jeremy. You
Kurt
get
is picking
sloppy
NWA.
seconds
Peter is picking NWA.
Keep going.
All right, so yeah, like I said, this is gonna be my game of the week because, like I said, just looking at the stats, they are almost identical for each team. I feel that Conco is not gonna have the worst goal and save percentage 2 weeks in a row, so I really see him stepping up again this week, and then I feel like the scoring potential of Mike Bryant, hopefully Mike Sturgis, they hear this podcast, they start to kind of incorporate him a little bit more. I feel like NWO is going to take this one as well.
I guess I'm the only one that disagrees. I think Furious 5 wins it, and I think they win it close. And I think it happens not because Conco has a bad night, but because I think that Paul and Jesse have so much talent and skill, and if you zero in too much on them, then Gaffey, Pete, and Brad are going to make you pay. And I just want, NWA plays physical defense, and I think that matches up well, but I don't think that their defense against the top guys, against a Paul and a Jesse, with Gaffey always nipping at your heels, is going to be able to stand up. So I do think that Furious 5 wins. They win a close one, and I'm calling it by 1.
See, and I think the really big thing for me is that the fact that they have Jamie on their team.
I just was
because
looking at Jamie, thinking the same thing.
This
I'm
guy,
like,
this
he's not
guy's
gonna have
incredible.
this one
He
goal
was the
next week.
reason. He was the reason that we changed around last year. We were 2-3 going into the midway point. We ended up finishing 3-2 because he came to me and said, "Peter, you don't look like you like to block the freeze. I do. Let me get up there." He's going against Paul. He did a great job against Paul last year. If he stops Paul, it's going to be great. If Gaffey stops Bryant, it really comes down to me, those two guys.
And honestly, I like Gaffey's chances on Bryant, and I think Jamie's great against the freeze. But how many goals did Paul score not on the freeze last week? All of them? I mean, I think it's a different game. But you know what? We've spent a lot of time on this game.
The biggest question is, has Paul ever dropped 2 in a row?
He's played on my team, so I'm sure we have at one point. All right, last game of the night, 9:30. A Tribe Called Quest at Public Enemy. This is my game of the week because Jeff Burge is hopefully back, and I just can't wait to see A Tribe Called Quest, full power. And Public Enemy, I know you're doubting me right now because they're my 7 on the power rankings, but they're coming off a 19-goal win. I mean, regardless of how it happened. Let's see Chris Enright and Tim Anderson going up against Mike Furlano and Jeff Burge. I just love it. And I love the idea of the assists coming up, because both teams had low assists. I'm hoping that chemistry ramps up, the assists come up. I mean, I don't know. You're looking at me like I'm
I think this is going to be an
moron.
incredibly low-scoring game. I'm nervous about the firepower from both teams. I think, to me, Brett Brett's a great goaltender. I think he's going to be stopping a lot of shots. And you have Chris and Tim who could not find the passing together last week, so I think they're going to be stunned. They're coming up against a better goaltender. They're going to need a pass. We had 8 assists last week, and that's how we kept it close against Brett last week. But you're adding in Burge. I agree with you there. I think this team is a lot better than I originally put them at the 8th seed. But they're going up against Bill, who is a great goaltender. I think this is just going to be an incredibly low-scoring game. However, for Lano and Burge, I think this is going to be a nasty game for them. I think this is going to be really strong.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to do really well. But once again, I see this as...
nasty in a good way.
Oh, yeah, nasty in a good way.
sorry.
Oh, yeah. I think for Lano and Burge are going to play so well together simply because they are all hustle. They will battle you full force. And they're going to win this game. It's going to be under double digits easily, though.
Well, so just because it's my game of the week doesn't mean it's going to be a high-scoring game. I mean, spoken like a true offensive guy, Peter. You know, I'm a defense guy and a goalie. A game of the week to me is a low-scoring game.
Same here. I agree with you. I agree with you.
25-24.
Oh, you take it 25-24, and you know what you can
I'm
do with
looking
it.
at Bill Rye like I'm playing.
This is a marquee goalie matchup. You got Brett and Bill, arguably two of the best goalies in this league, going head-to-head. You got, Bill's, just his endurance has to be a question mark. He looked so tired at the end of that last game. And so that is one of the reasons that, I think this is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a great game. And I think that A Tribe Called Quest pulls it out.
What are your guys' thoughts?
Why don't you go ahead, Jeremy?
I see the Public Enemy. It's tough to kind of bash a team that just beat you by 10. But I see Public Enemy having a tough go at it because just looking at how the first period started to play out, I should say probably the first 5 minutes of the first period kind of played out because that's about all we had to give for my team. But playing that run and gun style against them, we were putting up goals. And now you have a team that's run and gun, and they'll run and gun for 3
Great
periods.
point.
So they had trouble with that. They struggled with that a little bit. Obviously, Enright was hurt. Who's to say if he's 100% for this week, or that's going to be a big factor in it. I feel, like I said, that even though they just blew us out, I mean, with a team that's trying, it's playing against them, I feel like they're going to have a rough go at it. And I actually am probably taking a Tribe Called Quest with that tandem of Jeff Burge and Mike Ferrano, putting up big numbers.
The thing is, Enright's 75% is like most other players' 100%. And I'm looking at Tim Anderson, Shane, Matt. I'm thinking, all right, Mike, Jeff, they're getting shots. What's getting in between those shots and the goal? Those 3 guys. But that said, we haven't seen Jeff and Mike, and I think there's going to be some chemistry there that we're just aching to see that happen. We've got a solid defense in the Tribe. I think keeping up with Chris Enright is going to be tough. Oh, Jesus, Chris Lowley's in the whole mix too. So that man, it's going to be tight. I'm with you. It's going to be low scoring, not just from the goalies, but from the fact that we have some defensive power out there on both sides.
So who's your pick?
I can't break the tide and go against my team. I'm gonna go with the Tribe because I'm psyched to see Jeff and Mike together. I'm psyched from a spectator standpoint. I'm psyched from a league standpoint, and I'm even more psyched to be on the team with them.
That being said, I'm not expecting instant chemistry. It's going to have to build. But, I agree with you.
But they're both
think
guys that have hockey IQ, and they know what the other one's capable of.
they both play ice. They both know how to play the game. Yeah. And I can't wait to see them play.
Yeah, I think they're going to play really well together. But I think this is going to be a big defensive battle. It's not going to be pretty.
Which isn't a bad thing.
I understand.
I do. We just have a difference of opinion.
We do.
I love the defensive battle.
But I love to see pretty goals. I love to see the good passing, which I don't think that Public Enemy has.
I don't see a lot
You
of
are
pretty
what's
goals
wrong
in
with
this game
America.
at all.
I am.
This
We
is
need
my
to
game
make
of the week.
America
This is
great
my game of
again.
the week, though. I don't see a lot of pretty goals, but I see it being a grind the whole way through.
It will.
And
I would hate to play in this game because I play
'Cause you like
against
pretty
guys
goals.
less. Yeah. I like
But
pretty-
that be told.
Well,
check
then
the
again, I got
temperature.
Austin on my
Temperature's
team.
down to like 56 degrees by
No,
9:30.
I just checked.
so
It was
we're
6.
good.
Oh, it's 9:30.
9:30.
down to
Yeah,
56
there's a high and a
or so.
low each day.
Yeah.
What?
All right. Well, look at that. We almost got up to the original podcast.
All right, so let me finish off this podcast with a question. If you were going to go into battle against Napoleon's army, and you could pick 3 guys in this league to go with you, who would it be?
Ian Smith.
Ian Smith.
Ian Smith. Ian Smith. Ian Smith.
Ian
Is
Smith
that-
3
does that
times.
work?
You're tripling
Does that
down on
work?
Ian Smith.
Have you seen that guy?
So we're coming
No
from
way.
the future. The clones. All right.
Yeah, that guy wanted to fight Gaffey in the parking lot. I mean, how would you not pick him 3 times? This guy has been on my team for
But
3 straight
he's
seasons.
a trained EMT, so you know.
Exactly.
He could've wound up
If he
being
hurts
hooked up really
himself, he
well.
could fix himself. I'm picking Ian all 3 times.
All right, Jeremy, what about you?
I'm gonna say Gaffey because he's about the same size as Napoleon.
But he can kick Napoleon's ass.
Yeah, he could. I'd be afraid.
Let's see.
You should pick Ian because they'd fight each other.
No, we need coercion. Let's see. Cohesive unit.
You need some synergy.
Yeah.
Imagery.
Let's see. Who else? I'm trying to think.
Shane's a big guy.
I'm thinking about who I think has guns.
Oh boy, we just got political.
And I don't know. I can't really think of anybody. All the guys are so nice at hockey that I mean, obviously, not all gun owners are assholes, but
Oh my God. All right, we might need to edit this part out.
Yeah, this is good, man.
no, I would say Gaffey. Paul Parody, just for the sheer beard.
Beard.
The beard, it's intimidating.
That thing
and,
is so big this year.
Probably take my brother, John Chatterton.
Chatter.
Those are my 3: Gaffey, Paul, and John. And Paul and John would be kind of funny.
Kurt, who are your 3?
I'm gonna go with the guys that are most like superheroes because I mean, as long as we're talking about a completely fantasy setting, why not? So I got Joe Gant filling the Superman role.
Because they would just see his hair and they'd all die.
I'm gonna take Kevin Baldwin.
Which Kevin?
Kevin Baldwin.
Well, he's got great defense.
No, because I saw him suiting up for his game the other night, and he was putting on all this body gear and taping it on. He looked like the fucking Punisher, man. I think he could kick someone's ass.
The
like
Iron
that.
Man.
Yeah, he was. That's it. He was like Iron Man, getting all suited up.
Remember that time Joe Gant killed that guy in Buffalo?
Whoa, what?
What?
Or that-
This is
there was
how
a- there
rumors
was a
get
news
started.
article.
That one time.
He killed a bear?
And then for my last pick, as far as superheroes go, gosh, I just had the guy. I would pick Zach, but he's a little too pretty, and I don't know what his superpower is.
Why would you
really
pick Zach?
fast speed. I don't know. I'd probably pick Brad Bird because even if I feel like Brad would be the last line of defense. And
He would just yell at them.
He
and then-
would, and he would start, and he would start slapping Napoleon around, and they would turn into a bitch slap fight, and it would be awesome. And I'm pretty sure Brad would come out on top.
There you go. You know, I'm going to go, I think I'll go Gaffey. I do have to agree. I think Gaffey is just, he's a grinder. I'd love to go into battle with that guy. I'm going to go Jamie Habitsruther.
Whoa,
he's-
Roto-Rooter.
Jamie Habits
great idea.
Roto-Rooter. Because I think, you know, we're talking about his versatility, so I think he could, you know, he could go to the artillery, he could go to the cavalry, you know, he could do whatever.
And he has guns.
And he has guns, probably. And, you know, I'm going to go, this is the sleeper pick, Mike Furlano, our friendly neighbor from up north. You know, not always known for their aggressiveness up there in Canada, but the guy's a bull, you know, and this guy, he's aggressive and he's intense, and, you know, I'd love to see us all get slaughtered by Napoleon. and
Now,
his
here's
army.
my question as I'm chewing food. Does Furlano get put into the Nice Guy Award for shooting 2 pucks into Dan Gladding's face, but apologizing for it?
Well, he's Canadian. He has to apologize.
And apologies are just the way this league works, which is one of the great things about it. You hit a guy and totally mean to do it, and they're like, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I cross-checked Mike Sturgis last week, and I pat him on the back as I ran back to my side of back to my bench.
I
He
was
didn't
joking
apologize.
earlier about Ian
Well,
Smith
the pat
backhanding me.
indicated an apology. I also, yeah, there you go. All right, ladies and gents, or mainly probably just gentlemen, thank you for listening to our second ever podcast, The Circle of Jerks.
2016. We don't judge.
Yeah, we don't judge either way,
Well,
but
we are realistic.
Patrick's girl might be listening.
yeah,
You never
well, you know what? She probably turned it off by now,
He'll have 4 goals again, though.
as any of
He's
you
got
will
like 4
have.
girls, too. So,
Well,
Oh,
we
Hope
definitely
she's not
need to.
listening.
All right, we need to
one?
wrap this up. Tune in next time for the Circle of the Best Jerks.